The Bible doesn't commend slavery. It regulated the slavery that already existed. This doesn't mean that God approves of it any more than modern governments approve of child labour. The number of regulations about child labour show the concern about the harm that this can cause. In the Old Testament law, slaves couldn't be ill-treated. They had 1 day off per week like everyone else, and they had to be fed properly. If you injured your slave, such as knocking a tooth out, they could go completely free. If you killed a slave, you were treated in the same way as if you'd murdered a free man. Remarkably, a slave was allowed to run away from a master and find a better one. It was illegal to force a slave to return to a master. Of course, we know the Israelites didn't keep all the laws all the time. They were sinners like we are. But these were the rules from God that he gave them to set them apart from other nations whose treatment of slaves was very different. Roman law regarded slaves as property, without any individual rights. Paul disagreed. He declared that all humans are equal: Jews, Gentiles, men, women, slaves, and freeborn. The New Testament letters couldn't tell Christians to illegally free their slaves, but they're told to treat them as much as possible as equals. Do not threaten them, since you know that he who is both their master and yours is in heaven, and there's no favoritism with him. Masters, provide your slaves with what is right and fair, because you know that you also have a master in heaven. Believing masters are devoted to the welfare of their slaves. Paul couldn't go as far as telling Christians to release their slaves because it was illegal in Roman law to set free a slave under 30 years old. Instead, he tells them to treat slaves with respect, like other workers. Presumably, this respect included the normal Roman practice of manumission, that is, legally freeing them at the age of 30 so that they could become proper Roman citizens with all the citizens' rights and earning capacity. What Paul could and did do was to utterly condemn slave trading. This condemnation became the key text for Wilberforce's campaign to abolish slavery. It's reiterated in Revelation, where slave traders are named among the evil members of a satanic empire that God will destroy. Instead of condoning slavery, the Bible shows us that God's plan was to gradually push the Jews and then Christians towards renouncing it. First by establishing rights for slaves, and then pointing out that all humans are equal. This should have resulted in the ending of slavery as soon as Christians had the political power to do so. But it didn't happen like that. The church didn't recognize God's plan. Perhaps we fool ourselves into thinking that Western society has progressed so much further than the Old Testament. It is true that laws enshrine the rights for every individual to be free, but there's no right for every individual to be fed and housed. And although slavery is officially illegal throughout the world, an estimated 25 to 40 million people are still enslaved. Through movements like Stop the Traffic, the church still has a vital role to play in helping to fulfill God's plan to bring freedom to all. God bless.